What's new with AI in the classroom? AI powered education is next. Casey and I are here to talk about a gem of a deal, I believe, and that is the new Gemini for Education space with Google. And Casey has been playing around with it a bit, and she has some ideas about how she'd like to structure it in the classroom. Unfortunately, it's not completely rolled out yet because they're really working on making sure it's safe for our learners and all that security layers are in there. But she's got enough information to share with us to talk about how you could use it in the classroom. So, Casey, let's hear what you know about GEMS.
Well, okay, so Gemini, we haven't really talked about that much on
Oh,
here, but Google's AI assistant is a really useful tool, especially if your school is a Google Suite school. So if you have this kind of built-in already AI tool, you don't need to go out and do research or try to find something else or pay for a subscription or whatever it might be. So I thought it might be really good for us to talk about that today. And one of the things I was really playing around with recently was their gems, which is basically like their very specific type of chat logs that you curate yourself. So I'm thinking of it as an educator. I might want to put in some parameters so that my chat that I have with my AI assistant is very narrowed, very focused, and I don't have to constantly remind the AI system of like what its job is or what I'm asking it to
you're
do.
building it in
I'm
to,
building it in first. So I start with some of those key concepts that will be crucial for how I want to use it. This is like especially important, I think, when I've heard from students before that when I've asked them to say put in a piece of their writing or get some feedback and compare my writing to the rubric, right? They'll ask ChatGPT or some other tool, a large language model tool to do that, and it will change it for them, right? It automatically wants to write it. And we talked about just the other day about voice and how that is so crucial for a student to feel like their voice is in the writing and that they matter and like they have good things to say. Well, as soon as the chat starts changing that writing, we've lost our human, right? We've lost the human in the loop. And so one way that you can use the gem that you've created is to say, I want this type of feedback, or this is the interaction that I want to have with it. This is the role you're going to play. They know the system knows how to engage and to not then make all of those adjustments because it thinks that's what you want, right? That's really what's
trying to
kind of
please
important
you.
there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you set this all up exactly the way you want it. So say if you're maybe trying to, because we've just talked about this recently about helping learners find their voice, because
Mhm.
the more they add voice to their writing, then they can use AI for the polishing if that's the goal. But you could at least already make those parameters in your gem, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, some of the pre-made Google Gems that are already there, they can help you with career questions. It's like curated already to really narrow in and focus on asking you specific questions about your career. We tend to forget sometimes that, AI is really incredibly smart and intuitive in that it's sort of, like when you go to type in Google and it predicts what you're looking for, right? Well, chat can do a lot of those things in chat GPT and other things, but we have to remember that it's only as smart as the prompt we give it, right? Like if you are being super vague and really not asking for anything specific, you're going to get a lackluster response out of it. Or if you leave it too open, it will end up giving you more than what you need. And like I tell my students, you can't unsee it. And it's super hard to unsee those things where like, yeah, but it sounds better. It sounds better. And I just want to remind them that it doesn't. It does not sound better. They think it looks better because it's technically sound and it reads clear and all of that, but that doesn't mean it has any originality or any voice. And so,
balance, right? You've got to have
Balance,
voice go
100%.
along with that technical. Yes.
Yep. And so when there's pre-made gems that are already there, brainstorming ones, which is really great and helpful if that's where you're at. You can play chess with it, knowing that that's a pre-made gem. But when you go to create your own, you can edit it after you've created it as well. So it's not like a one time thing and then all of a sudden it doesn't work for you. You can edit it afterwards, but you name the gem so that it's like your personal resource that you're going to be able to go back to. You tell the gem what you need it to be. So it's like almost like giving it a character, right? Like, who are you?
Mhm.
What's your background? What have you been doing? What do you know? What do you not know as a tool? And you can edit that as many times as you need. And then you can add files. So let's say you want to only work within like a PDF document that is specific to the thing you're studying, right? For your classroom. You put that in there, that's the knowledge base that it has. Like it's like, okay, that's all I know. That's all that you know, and that's all that I know.
And again, that sometimes, again, really puts the teacher back in the loop, right? Because you were giving and refining, this is exactly what I want them to work with. I don't want them going off all these different directions. This is exactly what I want them to do. So,
Right.
and
Well, and it kind of prevents a little bit of that hallucination that we've talked about before with chat. Sometimes those large language models tend to make things up because it sounds good, right? And if you aren't able to discern what is true and what is real and what is not, then you can really get yourself into a pretty disgusting little pickle. So just something to consider. It's starting maybe with more parameters and then taking some away as you go through it. But the one downfall, I talk about this creating a gem and how you can use it with your students and all of that, is that right now, in the summer of 2025, that feature is not available to share. So like I can create a gem, I can name it, I can add a file to it, I can tell it what to do, and then I can interact with it. It's very personalized for me, right? But a student, I can't share it with my student for them to interact with. And that they say Google is working on rolling it out. So hopefully by us talking about it today and maybe more people talking about it and really trying to push them, that we'll see that before the 2025 school year starts would be kind of my goal. Because
well,
yeah, I want to
yeah, like
start
you
with it.
said, we many schools already have this. You
Right, right. You already have Gemini.
right.
Mhm.
So why not use what you already have?
Right. In a kind of a cool new personalized way is really what we need, right?
Sounds like a gem of a deal.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you.